12:30 already. God dang. Switching over. I did not mean for that startup to take so long. Just trying to figure out a title. And let me fix my hair. There we go. I did not mean to take that long for starting up. So, anyway. Hi, hello. Let me move my chat over here, actually, so I can actually see y'all. And bring that up just because. So, a few things before we get started. As it is the first day of spring, we will be christening the new candle for the season, the spring candle. Now, I got this because it had peach in it, but my brain did not register that it is... Jesus Christ. That's just worse. That it is... white rose and peaches. Now, I'm not allergic to roses, but... roses are pretty strong. So, hopefully, because this is just, like, been in my face and under my nose the whole time, it's not gonna actually be that strong when I'm burning it. But if it is that strong, we're only gonna burn it for just the bare minimum of time. Anyway. So we will be doing that. But before we do that, I wanted to show you guys something. I found a mug I used when I was a wee baby. Not a wee baby, but, you know, like a child. This is my childhood mug. I used it every day, basically, for hot chocolate and tea. I didn't drink tea, but, you know, like, for hot chocolate. I'm using it for coffee now, and I was holding it. It's like, this used to be so big in my hands. This used to be that mug that I would be like, that I'd have to use both hands to hold. And now look at it. He's so tiny. Oh, it's good nostalgia. This is why you hoard things. This is why you keep everything. Never throw anything away. Keep everything. My hair is really curly right now. It's because I did a thing. Anyway, so do not play with matches. If you are an adult, be mindful. If you are a child, ask an adult to at least supervise until you are at least in your teens. And if you've never handled a pair of matches in your teens, put your parents on the phone because we need to have a talk. Why would your parents not teach you how to use matches? Safety reasons? You're supposed to trim the wicks when you light a new candle. Which I did. But also you gotta burn off the excess wax they used to fucking light. That was pushing the envelope. There we go. A lit candle. And then you put this in a safe place that is not going to be knocked over. Now, I know y'all in chat can't see that, but that's because if I were to put it in view of camera, there would be no place to put it. I'm going to put these back. And then we'll get started with the official stream. Keep your matches safe and dry. Uptight, upright, and out of sight. Especially from wee babes. And when I say wee babs, I mean like people under 10. But then again, as soon as you have good motor control, I think you should be allowed to use matches. Just to teach you responsibility. But also have parental guidance. So parents, do not rely on the government or the internet to raise your children. That's your job. And if you didn't want to raise your kids, don't have any. It's as simple as that. This mug is so small. It's so tiny. It's just the little goober cats with balloons. Camera, can you lock the fuck in? Every time I move, it's like, oh. Refocus. Recenter. Alright, YouTube. Why are you doing that? I'm genuinely... If I'm gonna keep streaming on YouTube and Twitch, I'm going to get a different streaming software just for YouTube. Because every time I switch over from Twitch to YouTube, the YouTube one never works. And I don't know if it's because YouTube doesn't like Streamlabs, because if that's the case, then, well, boo, because that's what I use. Or if it's, like, this keyframe settings. But, you know, I can't change that. And if I can change that, I don't know how. Because, like, YouTube, can you just lock in? Alright, we're gonna move Thatty there. My mic is... I was so afraid. I hate that the camera has to be over there because this is like, this is my good side. This is the bald spot. But that's just how it is with the way the camera is, because if I switch it around, it doesn't look good. So, we're gonna get right into it. There we go. And by getting right into it, I mean we're going to sit here and stare at these sketches for forever. I have no idea why my camera washes my face out so much. I don't even have the light on. See, like, this is what it looks like with the light on. That's its brightest setting. And there's it with the light off. But it is actually not that bright in here. I know I keep saying this because I had to put the blanket over the window, or it looks like we got the gates of heaven behind us. Even though it is quite overcast. I think it's supposed to rain today. I kind of hope it does. Okay, so basically, what we are doing is I am designing not a new Sona, but a mascot for the channel. There is a difference between a Sona and a mascot. She's gonna be the mascot for YouTube, and YouTube only. For Twitch and all my other socials, it's still gonna be just me. Even though this YouTube channel is also called Just Rune. I think it's better if we all have the same name. Like, if my socials all have the same name, even if it's not exactly what it's about. Because my DeviantArt at this point is just the Path to Brighter Stars and then the Path to Brighter Stars and Friends. That is literally what my DeviantArt account is. Which reminds me, I need to look into other comic sites. So when I work on other things, if fans of the comics still want to keep up to date with it, and I work on pages, you know, like sporadically, it'll be there, and it'll all be there. So I'm looking currently at Comics Fury, because I know that's a really big one, and I will probably, if I find at least 4 that I like and are willing to work with, I'll put a poll up on my DeviantArt asking people, hey, where do you think I should post this? Like, in addition to DeviantArt, if you like are only interested in the comic and want to keep up to date on it. Yeah. The only reason I started streaming, like, today, even though I'm really not in the mindset for productivity, slept in, is because A, it's Friday, and I promised YouTube a stream every Friday. B, it is the first day of spring, so I wanted to capitalize on that, because I actually do like spring. My allergies act up like a bitch because of all the pollen, but I do enjoy spring. And C, if I don't stream this process in the slightest, I'm not gonna get it done, because this has been 2 weeks worth of work of me just casually futzing around while listening to the Muldoon logs. However, as soon as 3 o'clock rolls around, I'm gonna dip, because I didn't realize this when I planned this stream, but today at 3 p.m., the next episode of Amazing Digital Circus is coming out, and I am not ready. I am not ready for that. We won't be watching it on stream. You go watch the original creator yourself. Support the indie developers. And yes, I do think Glitch is still considered indie, but it's like indie asterisk. Like, they started indie, but then they started their own franchise. Because they are their own distributor. They had that deal with Netflix, and they have their merch is being sold on Hot Topics. So they are indie asterisk, like in air quotes. They started indie, but then they formed their own company. Not like with Vivzy Pop, where she started indie and then signed on with a company. Like with Hasbin. Hasbin is not indie. Okay, it's got Amazon and A24 backing it. It is not an indie project. Hell of a Boss kinda used to. they also got the Prime deal. So Vivzy Pop is not indie anymore. She is in the industry, not independent. Glitch is still, in my mind, still indie. Because they haven't signed on with anyone. I mean, yes, they did sign on with Netflix, but all they did was give Netflix permission to air their episodes. I don't think Netflix had any control over what was happening. I keep spinning all over myself. Which, I mean, good for them. While I'm working on mascots, I'm also working on future banners and profile pictures, as well as a little guy that may or may not appear in videos. I'm not sure what the little guy would be here for, unless the little guy is going to be like a Gooberverse version of the mascot. But then I made this sketch in MS Paint, which I highly suggest if you're feel that your art or if your illustrations need a boost or a reset. Instead of going traditional, use MS Paint. I highly recommend it. That was the most fun I've had in a while. Yeah, let me show you guys what I did on MS Paint. Where is it? It's in here. Yeah, it's like I never left. Because the illustration capabilities on MS Paint are so rudimentary, getting a sketch out like this just forced me to think of where to put the lines and what the shape of things are, and just the basic color swatching without getting too caught up in the, the tones and the warmth of it all. So I just did that rudimentary sketch, especially with these colors, in MS Paint, and then I brought it over to here. Not gonna stay long, but at least wanted to stay up. To live in a unchat. Oh my god, I can't read right now. Say what you're working on. Let's say liking the ref sheet so far. Attach the speech bot on streams. Now that would be normally what people would do. I just can't fucking stand text-to-speech bots. I know they're huge in the VTubing community. I know everyone loves them, and I know chat loves abusing them. I just can't fucking stand them. That's not a hot take or a dig on anyone, and normally that would be like the best idea for the little guy. I'm iffy on them myself. Yeah, because I just can't. Oh my god. Because most of the time when I'm watching stream and they got text-to-speech going, it's someone just going It's like, oh my god, shut the fuck up. Literally, he was telling us a very interesting and personal, in-depth story about, like, I watch streamers like Pezzy, so sometimes he'll talk about, his mental health and a story about what was happening in his life, and then you get text-to-speech going like, wow, damn, 6 months, no way. Omega lol. Like, can you fuck off? Yes, you can turn it off, but sometimes when you're just streaming, you kind of forget to turn it off. And they're like, yeah, I've been going through a really tough time. It's been really upsetting since my mom died. And, we've been going through all her stuff. And thank you for the Twitch Prime for 10 months. Appreciate it. So yeah, my life has been really I've been struggling really hard. It's like, okay. My immersion. Also, the amount of mispronounced words gets annoying too. I hate the voice so much. And I know you can choose different voices. I don't care. I didn't even like Siri when she first arrived. I did not like her one damn bit. And I think it's because she reminded me too much of Vicky from... Was it Vicky? From iRobot, the Will Smith movie. Was it Vicky? Anyway, yeah, she freaked me out as a kid, so I didn't like robot voice. I didn't like robots. Not like her. Illustrate things like chat rules. Yeah, I was thinking the little guy would be like a mascot for like little pop-ups and like announcements, and specifically for merch could use the little guy. Or like, instead of telling people to like, comment, and subscribe, little dude would pop up. The working name is Manic right now, because I think that's cute. The Manic Mustaloid. Announcements, what your channel is about. Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a role for little dude. Is he meant to be a cat? No, he's actually supposed... I'm saying he, even though the guy's supposed to be goober version of me, or this mascot, is a stoat. I couldn't decide between a stoat or a pine marten, because my channel has a history of being tree obsessed, and it's really funny. So it's, oh, wouldn't it be so funny if when I finally get my final form rebrand, it's a pine marten, you know, a mustaloid that lives in trees and in the woods, so the tree obsession has come full circle. But I also know thyself, and know if I don't have a Sona that can change or has some sort of flexibility and can't get stagnant, I'll get bored with it. So I chose a stoat, or an ermine, as we call it in America. In the UK, they call it a stoat, which I think is just a cooler name, but then again, I grew up with Redwall. And they have a seasonal pelt. You know, they change, their coats change from summer, spring, autumn, and winter. So I thought, oh, that'd be cool if I have a character that their colors and the little guy's coat changes based on the seasons. I was like, that'd be really cool. I'd have to draw all that. But hey, it's something to keep me busy. And I think if I keep the design, you know, kind of scrappy and scruffy enough for videos, I won't get too overwhelmed drawing them, because then there are moments where she could just look like this and it still be the same character, you know, in between her looking different. And of course the fashion can change as long as I have a few constants, which I did take notes on in my sketchbook, in the white square. You can't see diddly squat, but you get the idea. It's also reversed for you guys. I do apologize for that. If you can read this, props to you. Sona was a spirit, interchangeably inhabit a pine marten and a stoat, while also humanoid spirit form. That way you can get both creatures an interchangeable mascot. I was thinking of just calling the little mascot Manic the Mustaloid, or Manic Mustaloid, so it would be any of the mustalids, and that includes stoats, weasels, ferrets, wolverines, badgers, otters, but I'm not really an otter. I've never been an otter furry. Even in my Redwall phase, I wasn't an otter furry. Or it's funny enough, I wanted to. An alternate title for this stream would be "The Therians Got Me." The Goblin Corps got me, but I didn't want to go too Therian looking with the mascot because I'm not a Therian. At least I don't think I am a Therian. A furry? Yes. But for the mascot, for what I want, I'm also kinda... I'm leaning more towards... Let's get the handy dandy chart that someone else drew. I am leaning more towards a kimono Mimi rather than full furry. I was thinking kimono with the design, and let me show y'all. I had a concept for a kimono version of a new persona, but it was like, damn, kimono is so hard to draw. So I thought, if it's still gonna be me, but with animal features, I think kimono Mimi is, which I thought was Mini for the long time. No, it's 2 M's, kimono Mimi. It's just animal ears, maybe a paws and tail. And the reason why I decided to go this route, instead of going like full forest spirit animal thing, is because I can either change these, treat these as part of her character, or as accessories. So if I ever wanted to change out the fashion, like have her dressed up in like synthwave stuff, I could do that. I was trying to figure out how to draw her with a hat with the ears, and I'm struggling. Also, based mention of Red Wall. Hell yeah! Never thought that you were a furry? Well, you have not been paying attention. No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I don't advertise that I'm a furry because the furry hobby for me is merely artistic. Although it's probably also the autism. But yeah, the only part of the furry community I was actually interested in was just drawing characters. And I'm not really into the hobby of furries, and it was, even when I was like more into it, it was like, if I ever got a fursuit, it would probably just be paws, shoes, a tail, and some ears. It was like, oh. And it was only recently that I found out there's a word for that. Even though character design-wise, I always thought these types of character designs were lazy. It was like, if you're gonna add animal features, why not go full out? Why would I make, you know, especially back when my channel was doomed to Tygon, back when I was, like, full furry. I was like, why would I draw just a girl with tiger features when I could just draw a tiger? And I'm pretty good at it. I don't want to brag, but I'm actually pretty good at drawing furries. Most of them. See me in Art Fight. And I do have a lot of furry characters. It's just, when people ask, are you a furry? I'm like, okay, what do you mean when you ask, am I a furry? Like, are you asking if I'm into, if I think characters that are anthro animals are attractive? Are you saying it as in, like, do I have a fursuit? Or are you asking, like, am I just able to draw them? Because some people, I swear to God, they'll be like, oh, furries are so weird. Ew, furries. Vaporeon, though. It's like... Or they'll say, oh, furries are so weird, but Judy Hopps is so hot. And it's like... Check thyself before thine wreck thyself. The furry community is certainly a mess, to put it lightly. There are some good ones out there, probably making the right call with not advertising yourself as one. See, now, I don't have a problem with people knowing that I'm a furry, or, you know, like, have furry roots. Because, I mean, I'm a Redwall fan, I'm a Warriors fan. I grew up with Disney, so of course I'm a furry. It's kind of the way I was raised. But let's be honest here, every fandom is a mess, and every fandom has their bad actors and just their has their drama and stuff like that. So let's not pretend like furries are uniquely fucked in this instance. It's just there's a lot of misconceptions about them. But to be fair, like, anime has the same misconceptions and problems with their fandom. But the thing is, like, yeah, furry and anime are on the same level because furry is not one thing. Oh, you're in the furry fandom? It's like, no, I'm in the furry community. You're not in the anime fandom because you're in the anime community. There's not one source material. See, there's a big difference between a community and a fandom because a fandom has one source material. A community has multiple source materials. Which for Star Wars kind of is kind of in the in-between phase because there's Star Wars the movies, but then there's also Star Wars the games, the comics, the TV shows, the books, and all that, but mostly movies. So I think we can still count that as a fandom. I have not drawn a single damn thing since we've gone live. When I think of furry, I think of people who love to fursuit and represent themselves online as furries and who are in certain sides of the furry fandom. Now, what people want to do in their spare time in their private lives is none of my business, as long as that doesn't involve, you know, hurting people or any explicitly illegal activities or immoral activities. It's whatever. If you and your partner want to yiff, you go ahead. Just don't tell me about it, because I ain't your partner. I don't need to know about that. And also, I hope you watched. I hope you watched it first. That was disgusting. But still, I'm of the mind where it's like, as long as you don't make it my problem, I don't have a problem with it. And you make it my problem when you try to shove it in my face or try to get me involved. That's when it becomes my problem, when you try to get me involved. It's like, no, 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 no. Like Warrior Cats, it's a fandom, and I presume a good chunk of it is within the greater furry community. Absolutely. I mean, they're anthropomorphized animals. That, by definition, is a furry. By definition, any anthropomorphic animal is a furry. In the, like, Webster's dictionary definition. So, like, Lion King. Any High Guard... Not High Guard. Any Lion Guard fans in the chat? You know what it is. Okay, the problem I am currently having, in the effort to give myself more options, I've given myself too many options. And now I don't know what to do. So for the design, I have no idea where I'm going. Okay, Lion Guard, yeah, it is called that. Not actually a fan, it's just like how they expanded the lore. There's like a few, I've only seen a few clips of Lion Guard, and I was like, okay, this is a way to go. Where did it go? Oh, there's something. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, so maybe it'll help me move forward with this design process if I explain what my process was. Okay, so I know everyone says, oh, make a mood board for a design, and people roll their eyes at, oh, the mood board, oh, the ever-present mood board, but trust me, it helps. Now, this mood board specifically has gone through, like, 50 iterations, because what I was doing was just, now I know this is basic, you go on Pinterest, or on the Google Images, and you copy-paste it into a folder, and then you just collect things and vibes of stuff that you like, and then move it around. Now, I wish I had a time lapse of all the times, like all the different iterations that this went through, because this is when I finally landed on a theme, a color palette, and a general look, and this is also boosted, supported by hours of external research, finding different terms, coming across images, and then like, okay, so what does this mean? And then looking into that, it's like, okay, I went down a rabbit hole of theory. I went down the Therian rabbit hole while making this character. I keep biting my cheek and I don't like it. Can I stop that? Hi, Estimer. So then when I finally, after hours of not just scrolling, because scrolling does not help. Scrolling does not help. The act of searching and collecting does. So then when I found this chart, I'm like, oh, this is a helpful chart to reference. I keep forgetting I'm off camera. This is a helpful chart to reference. So maybe what I'm actually looking for is kimono mimi. And then I Googled and searched in Pinterest kimono mimi and see what pictures popped up. And that's when I found Therians and found this Therian mask, which is really cool, by the way. It's like, oh, the idea of the furry shoes and the paws and the tails. I really like that. I love what that adds to the silhouette. Because I was also keeping the silhouette in mind. Because I love adding, like, having the ears and the hat. That was just awesome. And these are some, like, other character designs of things that I wanted to reference or emulate. Especially this one, because I freaking love something about the orange and green color palette. Like, the actual earthy tones really speaks to me. Especially since this one is named Malik. This character is named Malachite, which I stole off of DeviantArt, I'm sorry. Not using it for advertising uses, just for reference. It's because I love the Malachite stone. So it's like, oh, if I use So I then added pictures of Malachite and marigolds, because I really like marigolds. And I was like, oh, well, that's a color palette. What other color palette matches these two that, orange and green, contrasting colors, that look good together? Oh, I know. Like, the fall season and Goblin Core, and that's when I, really went into Goblin Core and found these images, which are really just a bunch of mushrooms and trees. And that's how we got this mood board going to help me start with my sketching. What even is a Therian? Okay, it depends on who you ask, but I think the definition of a Therian is someone who no, because that's an otherkin. An otherkin is someone who believes that there is an animal, that they were an animal in a previous life, or that they have that they are actually born the wrong species. I think a Therian is someone who just feels a deep connection with a certain animal, to the point where they actually feel phantom limbs. Which at first sounds weird, but I kind of get it, because, as a kid, because it usually, shows up in children. It's not just plain pretend, because as a kid, sometimes I'd fully imagine not just imagine, but kind of feel having ears on the top of my head, or a tail, and thinking, oh, if I had, like, ears and a tail like an animal, that would be so much better, because then I can fully communicate my emotions, and then people might understand what I'm feeling, because no one understands how I'm feeling, which is also a sign of autism. So I get Therians, I understand them, I don't think I am one. Like, I'm not gonna go around doing the quadriplegic, even though not every Therian does the quad stuff. It is impressive when they do. Want good Therian representation of video games? Check out Zenless Zone Zero. You don't have to play, but they have their own version of a Therian or as a humanoid race. Huh. A lot of people would say, like, oh yeah, like, Kimono Mini or Therians, like the Faunus from Ruby. It's like, I hate the Faunus designs. Let's be real here. So funny, because having this as my mascot, I actually hate the Faunus designs, because it was the Faunus designs were literally just regular anime girl with human ears, which always annoyed me. With her Kagome hair, and then ears, just copy pasted on top. I hated that character design, because she has no tail, just ears. It's like, oh, that is so lazy, but at the same time, it was like part of her character to be able to hide her faunousness. I was like, couldn't you just, like, use a glamour or something? Your semblance is literally shadow. So why can't you just, like, your ears? I don't know. I wanted to like Ruby or RWBY when it first came out, but then the more I started watching it, I'm like, I'm not enjoying this one bit. It's a way for people to express how they feel close to their spirit animal, represent their phantom limbs as it look on them as a human. Yeah, and I love that art and the way that looks, and I fully understand what it's like to not feel human or a proper human. But then again, for me personally, I think that's just the autism. That's why I'm, like, confused. It's like, I'm not, like, for other people, I'm pretty sure they have their own thing. But for me, it's like, it's like, is it being a Therian or having a Therian type? Or am I just autistic? See, that's where it's like, am I this, or is it just autism? Gay or European? I need to actually fucking do something. Okay. Let's get going. New layer. Okay. 4 reels, because I think why I've been dragging my feet on updating this channel and getting started on video scripts is because I don't have a set design for my mascot. So if I don't have a set design, I can't start anywhere. And I think, just for the sake of simplicity, if I just get the colors and the eye shape and hair shape down, anything else can be just added on. And since we are in spring, currently, in the next few videos will be coming out in spring and summer, we should probably do the spring designs. And the design is basically just going to be a color swap. So we're working on the shiny version. Because see now, if I was a furry, I'd add a muzzle and think about where the nose is gonna be. Because mustelids have very specific noses. And then, like, do this Do that. Have the ears out to here. But I hate drawing the frickin' muzzles, so... for kimono mimis, you just draw your regular human schnoz, which for me might as well be a muzzle. And then you... That candle I lit earlier is going to kill me. I didn't realize just how strong fucking roses are. I thought it was just gonna be peach. It's like, oh yeah, white rose and peach. The rose will be subtle. Hell no, I don't smell no peaches. All I smell is roses. My mom would love this candle. I, on the other hand, am going to die. I will keep the mouth shape because I just draw mouths like this anyway, but... yeah, I'm gonna keep the fang. The fang is funny. Now, one thing that I've also been struggling with this design, struggling with this design, is that stoats and other musteloids naturally have smaller, more rounded ears. Now, sables and martens do have bigger ears. They look more like cats. However, in all my sketches, I give myself big ol' ears. Mostly for the silhouette, but also because, you know, I need to be able to express myself. He is an Engi rune. So I'm wondering, if I keep this shape, if it still reads possible, you know, weasel, instead of just weird cat ears. Also, I don't think this mascot will ever be a VTuber, because A, I don't think I could be bothered to actually try to do that, and B, I mean, what would I do with it? This is gonna be for my YouTube channel, and I have videos planned. It's just, I think if they're more sketchy, it's gonna be a lot, it's just gonna be more on brand with everything being kind of scuffed and homemade. One moment. Okay, we're back. If it isn't too presumptuous, maybe the Ethereum thing is how your autistic brain justifies why you think weirdly. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, because I've fought with the Therian thought before. I knew I wasn't otherkin, because I don't believe in reincarnation. And I never felt a deep connection to one animal, just anything not human. Because of my neurodivergency, it does have a tendency to make me feel not human, but that's just because of the way society is. I am as human as everyone else. I don't want to say I am less or more human, because that's not what that means. I am just as human as everyone else, because if you look at what the ancient cultures would say about people like me, we were the cave guardians. We were the basket weavers. We were the cave painters. We were those that hear what moves under the snow. It's only in the modern developed society where there's no place for people like me. Also, is the version of the green cloak supposed to be a monk? No, I was just trying out the cape, or not the cape, the hood and cloak thing, because one of my old personas had a hood, and I thought about bringing it back, and I think, you know, maybe for like one or two like promotional pieces, or like just for some fun illustrations, we could bring back the hood. Some proper VTubers don't even put on characters. Oh yeah, I know, it's just the, like, as much as I would like to make a VTuber just to say, yeah, I did it, like, what would I do with her? Because this channel isn't going to be about VTubing, or from the VTubing perspective, because I want it to look, a specific way. I don't know how to explain it without getting too much into it. And also my computer. My computer would probably explode if I even looked at Live 2D. So VTubing's just not on the table currently. I will still be using the webcam for live streams. It's just the difference between my live streams on Twitch and YouTube is probably just going to be subject matter. Like, I'm gonna keep my comics and other stuff on Twitch. I'm not sure what YouTube is gonna be, or anything like that. But, yeah. Okay, eye shape. I think I like this big wing on the bottom. Even though that's not how I really do my makeup, but then again, this is not a persona. I have to keep telling myself this. This is not a persona. This is a mascot for the channel. This is just going to be the face of YouTube. When I want my face on something like real me, I'm going to use real me, or my drawn version of myself. And I think that's why my channel has gone through so many redesigns. Is because I kept not differentiating between the art and the artist. So this is going to be the mascot for YouTube, but this is still me. Even though I should probably change the way my hair for the drawn version, because my hair doesn't look like that anymore, but it looks how I feel. And I'm keeping the orange eyes, even though my eyes are hazel. I don't give a damn. I did it again. I keep biting this part of my lip, and I hate it. Ow. I think I tried in one of my sketches to give her more like butterfly eyelashes, because I really I wanted to add butterflies somewhere in her design, because butterflies kind of are all over my marketing and my branding. That's what it is. Like, butterflies have been part of my brand for at least 6 years now, so I wanted to keep the butterfly somewhere, but I couldn't figure out where to put it on her. I wanted to give her like the butterfly ears, like on this one, which I fucking love. If I could get a pair of these just to wear in real life, I'd wear them every day. But I couldn't quite get the shape to work. So we will just not be doing that. Another thing that I think I've been doing wrong all these years is I was trying to force an image. I was trying to force myself into a role I could not fill. Like, some of my older designs are supposed to look otherworldly and very spiritual and, you know, a regal forest guardian. But I am not that at all. None of my content matched the vibe I was trying to go for with my Sona. So, with this time, I think if I purposefully draw my mascot as this scrappy and scruffy looking little gremlin, it'll match my content. Because if you watch most of my videos, I'm kind of manic. Especially the synthwave videos. Oh my god, I was going through a manic episode in my synthwave videos. Now, I can't officially diagnose myself as a manic depressant. However, I do have a lot of symptoms. Now, the white irises, I am definitely keeping because they look cool. However, which eye do I use? Do I use the... No, wait, this is the iris. The white pupils. White pupils I am keeping. What version of the iris do I use? This one or this one? Sky's the limit. And that's part of the problem. I think for the little guy or like the little goober, I think what I might do is just take a stoat and poorly edit my hair on it. Or just use pictures of ferrets and weasels for like memes, like reaction memes. I think that'd be funny. Okay, so the ear is on top of the head. Yeah, very rounded. Mm. Hello? What happened to the chair? Hey, Waffles! That's another thing I think I was doing wrong with my mascot. I was adding too much lore. Now, having lore to a mascot is cool. That looks bad now that I... Fuck. No, that's not how... I mean, with the hair, it looks different. But I think it's too low on her head. I need to put him up a little higher. A mascot. It would be an outlaw-esque gremlin. It doesn't want to... Any forest loves lives outside society. Work on hard and explore her interest. I mean, if I had to add lore to it, it would probably be that. But my channel, like, my content is gonna be about books. And mostly talking about, like, movies and books. So I think the mascot is not matching the content at all. And I think that's okay. As long as I match, as long as the mascot matches the personality of, like, of the content, I think it'll be fine. Because then also, in my mind, ferrets and most musteloids are very ADHD coded. So it's like, oh, it'd be funny, just like, musteloids are also known as hoarders and stinky thieves. That's literally what ferret means. Smelly thief. Or musteloid. Or something. It was either ferret name or musteloid means smelly thief. And I think it would be funny if I'm just like, if my content just bounces around. Oh, I don't have to stick to one thing because my content can just bounce around and be whatever it wants. Because guess what? I'm hoarding obsessions. It's my first convention ever. Nice. This looks bad now, but trust the process. The process must be trusted. Also have my sketchbook over here. Okay, process. Scrub. Scrub. Oh, and her neck is too long. That's also part of it. It's actually not, but her shoulders are too big in proportion to her head. Ah. Proportions. Who? Ah. Misinput. Alright, no. Dink. 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 Scruff. The moment I try to draw her with realistic proportions, she looks wrong. So I think the only way to save this is to purposefully make her look not proportionate. Because this just looks all kinds of weird. You know, let's get rid of this and then maybe it'll look good. Blue. Why do you look good over there? Why are you not looking good over here? Okay, better. I think what I have to keep in mind for this type of design, no clean line art allowed. We have to do this number. Her character design is triangle. This is the shape language we are trying to achieve with her character design. Triangles. Hi already, Ish. And we are done with the coffee. Well, with this type of coffee. Hey, I showed this earlier, but I'm going to show it again now. Guys, check it out. This is a mug I've had since I was a kid. And this was my favorite mug. It used to be so big in my hands. Now look at it. It's so small. And I found it in the cabinet. It's like, aw. So anyway. My favorite childhood mug. I thought I'd use it again for the first day of spring. Which, by the way, happy spring, everybody! Hope y'all are doing well. I still have a backup coffee, but it's black. Oh my god. We will always need black coffee, the elixir of life. Look at that. Black as my soul. Okay. I think my problem is I've learned anatomy too well. Or, like, I've become too used to drawing, like, trying to be proportionate and focusing on proper anatomy but my style is also overtly cartoonish. So it's like, every time I try to, like, draw anybody, it's a Frankenstein. Black my emotional state. Aww. Unforge. Okay. Our constant canon colors, no matter the season, will be that skin tone. It's just spat everywhere. And this eye color with highlight and shadow, because I always put 3 colors in the eyes because I just cannot help myself. And then clothes are probably just going to be shades of gray, brown, and green. Now, hair and fur patterns are going to be seasonal. So, if I can just have a chart for, like, it's these colors every time. For spring and autumn, I think we can get away with having a more fast and loose, exact patterning, because they're in the transitional phases, while summer and winter would be more, more consistent, as they are the longer seasons. Okay, now winter, I think would be really cool. I kind of like this look for winter. You know, having the hood to keep warm in the snow. But also just the light colored hair, like I had for this version. But honestly, I think I would need to go more white, just not as. That's why I picked this picture. Instead of going full white, the little guy would be more of a... I don't want to say it, even though I know that's the color. It's more beige. I hate beige, but I also hate white more. So, to pick a worse enemy for winter. Wait, if this is skin tone, and if we pick something like this for the hair color. Okay, that's not gonna blend too much, which is good, because you don't... That's the one thing that a lot of character designers and VTubers kind of forget when having light-haired character design. You don't want the hair and skin to blend. Because here, let me color this in a little bit. If I color this and then zoom out, you can still see the difference between hair and face. Now, if I made her more like a little bit harder to see, but you can still see it. But also the thick black line art is helping. Oop. Yeah, season room. Yes, I'm going to finally allow myself a seasonal design mascot. I think that'd be a really fun gimmick with my mascot. Because, you know, instead of like, oh, Rune designing her Sona again, her mascot again, it's like, hey, no, that's the point. Every season we get something slightly different. And each year that season is going to be slightly different. So hopefully this means we don't have to do this ever again. And then when they're like, oh, we're just, let's say, redesigning Sona. Oh no! Don't worry. We're just changing out the sprites for the new season. Happy first day of whatever season it is. Instead of the darker color, to make it stand out more, I'm going to make this ear tip the same color as her eyes. Just to help separate her ear from her hair, no matter what emotion she's emoting. Ear is going to be the same color as hair, though, because I like the look of the ears coming out of the hair. Instead of, like... Instead of having the hair try to hide the ears and hair, it's more harmonious. This is more furry-esque with this design. Nothing wrong with it, it's just I struggled and have been trying to force this to work for so long. I'm just, you know what? I'm on the wrong layer. Screw this. We're gonna have fun with it, damn it. And all the things I used to hate, I have now become. Not all the things, but yeah. Alright. Still, same problem as always. Her neck is now too short. I don't care. Do I care? Actually, no. Do I have 4 ears? No. Maybe. Are these real ears? Or are they just an accessory? Who knows? Do I have actually a paws and a tail? Or am I just wearing funny little shoes? You'll never know. But you'll never see the other ears either. Ooh boy, I hate that. I hate when they're like, oh yeah, these are like my real cat ears, and they also have human ears. I'm just, no. By the son of the Holy Ghost. Foul demon! Get it out of here! I hate it so much. It gives me the ick. And this is only because me hiding my human ears in this design is because I hide my human ears in real life. I do not like having my actual ears exposed. Yes, there have been times where I've tied my hair up and it's unavoidable. Unavoidable. But for the most part, no one can try to stick a pencil in your ear if they don't know where it is. You have no idea how many times that has happened to me. Isn't that funny to think about? A lot of your adult quirks are because you were bullied as a child. Okay, so if that's... I'm gonna call... Actually, hang on. Okay. I'm gonna move this up here just to give myself some more room. We still the same question. Do we have the iris or the non? Or is it an interchangeable thing and it's just to show emotion? Because, like, this would be fine for, like, a close-up calm talk, but if I'm, like, getting rabid, which is gonna happen a lot in videos, I'm just gonna... Which I did do with my other Sona, which is pretty funny that is a reoccurring theme that is coming up. Pick up the phone. Yo, where would a furry hold the phone? Here or here? Interchangeable would be so fun. I think, yeah, the more freedom I give myself with these designs, I think the less likely I am to feel constrained. But also, I do like having structure. That is another issue that I have. I like having structure. I like having rules for a design, especially when it comes to, like, fan art and whatnot, because they're like, oh, you can draw whatever you like. It's like, please, rules, I need, but also I can't. So as long as I can come up with rules. Okay, I'm gonna put the white there to show always, no matter what, white pupils, these colors in the eyes, whatever shape. And I think if I were to make a ref sheet for, like, other people to follow, the ref sheet would just be, like, 8 different versions. Okay, zooming out really far, looking at both eyes. I do like both. Damn it. I like both. I do like this color for winter. And then maybe the paws and shoes will have this lighter color to emulate how... Yeah, I think if the paws and shoes have lighter colors each time, because I'm not referencing a black-footed ferret, even though that is peak character design. I am mostly referencing, when it comes to colors, a stoat. And that means a black tail tip. And some sort of markings around the eyes. Always darker around the eyes and muzzle. White paws, no matter the season. And a black tail tip. So if I keep that consistent. And another thing. Are we going with a solid black tail tip? Or is it just going to be a really dark brown? See, like, here, that is black. But if I add this dark brown, it's almost unnoticeable but it also is noticeable. But then again, it won't be any issue for me otherwise, because like if I did the one that is just the line art, and I forget to color in the tail, then it's just that. But if I add, hey, I'm using the wrong color. But if I add this black tip to the line art, I'll never forget it, because it's just part of the line art. Butt cheeks. Would it be normal to be able to tell it's dark brown? Oh, it's normal. I think it's normal. See, because like this is, and then again, this is also photos. This could be considered just dark brown. It's not in the others. Yeah, just dark brown. But if you look close, it is black because it has purple in it. So, I think it depends. Because, like, for these sketches, I just made it dark brown. With these little markings. And I do really like this little cute guy design. But I just need to practice drawing ermines more. Because I'm not quite confident with the head shape. Because weasels and other musteloids have a very smooth top of the head. Very smooth brain. And, you know, they're not like cats, where they have, like, a distinct muzzle. Or, yeah, they're not like wolves, where they have a muzzle and then things. And they're not like a cat, whom I've been drawing wrong this entire time, because cats have a very, very short muzzle in real life. This looks more like a fox than a cat. Now, musteloids, very domed. They got the chrome dome. And I'm more accustomed to drawing sharp, pointed edges, which is why the ears don't look like a regular weasel. Because a regular weasel has these little ears. But if I've thought that if I put those ears on the mascot, people think, oh, what a cute little mouse. Or like, oh, are you a bear? No, but a Wolverine is basically if a wolf and a bear had a kid, so... I wish I had Wolverine energy, man. The type of energy I wish to bring to the function. But unfortunately, I know, in my heart of hearts, the rabbit still holds true. But also, I had a kind of a thought with myself, and this is a conversation that I should be having with a therapist, but haha, here we are. If I was holding on to the rabbit identity because everything about the rabbit represented parts of myself that I need to overcome, you know, like my anxiety. And I have this weird tendency, and this is gonna get a little heavy, but I'll try not to cry. I have this tendency to hold on to trauma and other types of identities like that. Not identities. I have this tendency to hold on to trauma as if it is part of my identity, instead of seeing it as something I need to address, to work on, and to overcome. and to learn how to carry with me in a manageable way instead of just having it on display. Now, in pseudoscience terms, that would make me an Enneagram 4. If you don't know what that is, I don't blame you. Not a lot of people know about the Enneagram. I keep forgetting that my camera ends here, and I do all my hand gestures down here, so I need to do it up here. And that is just something I had been dealing with, and I was wondering if by picking the weasel to represent my channel, if that was a step forward or just a step to the side. You know, not a step back or anything, just a step to the side. Not quite moving forward to betterment, but just pivoting into just look at really far to the left instead of actually moving forward. I want to feel like picking an animal that I actually like and want to emulate more in my personality in a metaphorical sense. Like the Wolverine would be a better step forward, because the Wolverine metaphorically is everything I want to be. You know, I don't want people to just see me as this helpless little thing that they can, you know, boss around and call dumb. But no one messes with Wolverines. And then I'm also thinking, is that a trauma response? Do I actually want to bring the Wolverine energy to the function? Or am I just tired of people messing with me all the time? Or treating me like I'm something that can be ignored? No one would ignore a Wolverine. When there's a Wolverine in your territory, you stay the fuck away from them. But I also want to make friends, so I decided on something closer to like the ferret side of the mustaloid family, because ferrets and weasels, they live in family groups. I have to close my door, hang on. You ever have a leg cramp so bad it makes you crippled for the next 3 days? Because that's happening to me. I had a leg cramp. I woke up yesterday with my left calf just cramping. And I have not been able to walk straight for 2 days. And it's not fun, because I'm literally in pain. Ah. Picking cool looking animal for channel go burr. Yeah, so then after having that conversation with myself, I realized I am probably just taking this all way too seriously and need to just chill out. Alright, let me finish this body. As best as I can. Another different part of my identity, I guess this is just the trauma show. The Truman Show? No, the trauma show. I've been drawing myself skinnier than I actually am since forever. And that's not like in a fat-shamey way. And I'm not, like, denying the fact that I am, by my country's definition, overweight. And not in the most healthy body that I could be in. But when I did have a Sona that I drew plus size that was closer to my actual, like, physique, I was so scared that people were going to think it was fetishy. Or that they were going to draw fat fetish art of her. And now, that was probably my fault for drawing a plus-size furry. Because she was a little, she was a dragon. And I loved that design. I loved that design. I loved that Sona. She lasted all of 3 seconds. But that's because I was so scared of people drawing, like, inflation art of her. Or, you know, like, just fat fetishy art. Which I see everywhere on Fur Affinity, and I just got so disgusted with not just the internet, but also with myself, and I just got rid of it. I repurposed the design. I couldn't bear to get rid of her. I just repurposed the design. She's now a 6-foot tall giant woman. Not 6 foot. She's like a 10-foot tall giant woman, and she is beautiful, and I love her. We can't have nothing in this house! I know, man. Furries, I love you, but for the love of God. This anatomy is driving me up a fucking wall. Hang on. I need to go back to my drawing cat, to my cat girl roots, because proportionately, she should have bigger hands because of the cat paws. And the feet are gonna be big because of the shoes. If anyone knows where to find a pair of shoes like this, I need big, stompy boots to make me feel taller. Same with these paws. Now, not these paws specifically, because my hands sweat so much. But if someone could find, or, like, knows how I could make my own little paws and shoes. I know how to, like, I could probably make these shoes. They're just gonna take a lot of foam and fur and faux fur. That's another thing. Where do you find good quality faux fur in the color that you want it to be? And how do you make these shoes without them looking like clown feet? Because most of the shoes are like, oh yeah, I add toes to my shoes so I can wear them around. It's like, you look like you're wearing clown shoes. Because those were, like, for a fursuit. It's like, no. I want them to be proportionate. Or, y'all either have to be proportionate, or, like, the size of leg warmers. Because some of this would be cool, too. But the thing is, I got stubby little legs. I do not have the long, elegant legs of a dancer with the physique of that. I got big birthing hips, okay? I look like a fertility goddess of the old days. Which makes me feel good about myself. But other people gonna get their hands on that because I look like a fertility goddess. People are gonna see that as consent, I guess, to make weirdo art of me. It's like, please. Just because I eat pizza in my spare time doesn't mean you have to draw art of me getting force-fed pizza and looking gross and all this fat fetishy bullshit. Get the fuck out of my face. Thrift store and 20 prayers is going into that said thrift store. Rip Joanne fabric. Brr, brr, brr. Yeah, rip Joanne's. Brr, brr, brr. 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 we miss Joanne's. So anatomy-wise, and I've always drawn big feet anatomy-wise too, so let's not get it twisted. This physique is all wrong, but it's gonna be covered by baggy shirts and pants anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Whatever physique you can hide behind baggy clothes, whatever. This is just my default pose while I figure out color palette. Damn! Tail. Oh, another thing that I want that I haven't decided yet is if I'm gonna add little paw pads to the shoes and gloves. And I also was wondering if I would add like a design to the back of the glove. Now that would be a lot to add to like a PNG tuber or anything like that. But for like illustrations and close-ups, that would be really cool. But I'm not sure like how much of a design I would add, if any, because the point of these like accessories is that they can be worn interchangeably with any type of fashion. And that's kind of what I want to go, like, I want to go for, because most of the time in summer, I'm just going to be wearing tank top and shorts and looking like hell. So wearing extra fur is not going to be very fun. Like, in real life. I also think of, when I'm designing sonas or mascots, I also think of it in the context of real life. Like, if I were to cosplay as my own character, how would it feel? Which is why I probably backpedaled out of the furry fandom. She's like, oh wow, this is so cool. And then I actually thought about the logistics of wearing a fursuit and being like, hell no. I'm wearing a sweater and pants right now. And it is just a little, it's just warm enough to where if it gets any warmer, or if I get any more heated, I'm gonna have to take something off. Something's gotta go. Alright, now, tail. Are you gonna have the toothing at the tip? Or based on the actual design, the tip of the tail seems to be made of different fur. Because a stoat's tail is literally just this, and then that. They're just scruffy, scrappy little guys. I love them. But for the sake of simplicity, that doesn't quite read what I want, so I think... Wait, hang on. No, if I'm wearing the tail, and that means wearing like a clip or a belt, that means... Okay. Booty cheeks are here. And the tail is not in the ass, it is an extension of the spine. So that means it would come out here. Which means from the side profile, that's a long tail. But I think we can get away with it because I'm going to be wearing clothes. And for the other drawing that I did, which I might add this design somewhere because I really like I wear this outfit a lot. Like, just pants, shirt tied around the waist with a tank top. I wear that a lot anyway. I couldn't figure out where to put her tail in the MS Paint sketch. But I think if it's one of those things where it's just floating on top of her clothes, just no matter what she's wearing, her shoes and gloves are always visible underneath, and tail are always visible underneath, would be so funny. But also like, okay, logistically, it would be a this. but humorously, it would be a that. So, like, what are we going for? Are we gonna go for logistics or funny moment? Especially since my content is probably, you know, I want to focus more on books and movies because that is my passion. And I feel like I can't run out of subject matter if I'm only talking with what I'm passionate of. Ow. Tooth. Why? Okay. Whew. We still alive. We still standing. Looking like a true survivor. Feeling like a little kid. Move, y'all. Take it back now, y'all. Tooth said stop talking. Oh. Completely random. I didn't believe this at first when I heard it. But have y'all heard the news? Have y'all heard the news? Let's just rip the band-aid off. Apparently, Chuck Norris is dead. I didn't believe it at first when I heard it. I was like, no way, no way. There's been plenty of times where people said celebrities have died, and that's not really true. So I looked it up. Yeah. Chuck Norris himself bit the dust. He was too powerful. So my brother in the group chat sent a bunch of memes. Let me read a few of them, rattle a few of them off. Yeah, Chuck Norris died 10 days ago, but death was too afraid to come get him. Chuck Norris never mowed his grass, he just stared at it and dared it to grow. Chuck Norris had a bearskin rug in his house. The bear's not dead, just too afraid to move. When Chuck Norris did push-ups, he wasn't pushing up, he was pushing the world down. Well, yeah, apparently, at the age of 86, Chuck Norris himself, man, rest in peace. I wasn't ever, like, a Chuck Norris fan, but it was like, he was a meme, you know? He was the man, the myth, the legend himself. Now I am fully tempted. No, that doesn't look right. The yeah, you wouldn't even see it. I unfortunately had the coolest idea to include malachite in my design because I fucking love malachite. And I thought, ooh, what if I gave her malachite patterned nails? And it's like, oh, that'd be really cool to do in real life. You just do the dip trick and then you like dip your fingernails in the green and now you got a cool swirly pattern because malachite's just the coolest gemstone ever. But then I was like, oh, God! How much do I actually hate myself? Don't answer that, me, because it's not a challenge. This hand looks jank. I don't care. I'm just trying to map out color so I can get a move on with my life. I mean, yeah, they look really sick, but I'm just thinking about frames and sprites. I'll just put my hair back there. Especially since I want to try, just so nothing gets too stagnant, I want to try for every video I make drawing the sprites from scratch. So that the drawing so that when I'm working on the videos, which are going to be a very few and far in between, especially this one series where I'm talking about the books of that were adapted into movies. That's going to take me a while to get around to because some of those books are hefty bitches. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so that the drawings kind of match the energy or the vibe of the book or subject matter that I'm talking about. Okay. So for winter, if I use this as the base camp and then use this as the tail and paws, what would this be? Would this change colors? I think it would. For the sake of the rule of 3, let's make it match the hair. And then skin would be here. And then, oh my god. Okay. Let's actually try to see what it would look like. I am losing hit points just thinking about coloring all that. Alright, shoes. We're thinking good old style sneakers or Converse with the toes. Excuse you. Alright, now we're gonna add the small detail of having the toe bit separated from the rest of the shoe, so I can stand on my tippy toes. Because I do that so often, it's actually caused me knee problems. The calf's supposed to be ripped? Oh, yeah. Why do you think a calf cramp hurts so much, man? I am built. I could cut diamonds with my calves. It's actually gotten so bad to the point where I can't wear regular pants because my calves are just so huge. I have to wear bootcut pants. And I know for some reason everyone seems to think bootcut pants are the devil. It's like, when you have autistic feet, bootcut is the only way for you to survive, because straight legs are skinny jeans on me. Yeah. Straight cut is skinny jeans. Anything other than boot cut or bell bottoms ain't gonna fit. I am stealing these from another OC that dressed like this. I'm just stealing his outfit. I'm gonna give the fake leg warmers, or the big ol' socks. To cover up the fact that I can't draw shoes. Just make them big and cartoony, despite having a non-cartoonish art style, but also very cartoonish art style. I've had so many people say, "Oh my god, boot cut, ew." It's like, I have a medical condition. Do you not realize you are making fun of the physically disabled? I'm not physically disabled, I just can't fucking find pants. There's a big difference between actually being disabled and just being picky. Because I could wear skinny jeans, I just hate skinny jeans. I hate them so much. They chafe on my legs because when I move, the pant, fabric shifts. And when it's shifting up on my calves, I hate. Then my autism activates and bad texture. Reporting you to the OC police. Well, he's my property, so I don't think he'll mind. He's also kind of a retired OC, so I'm just stealing his fit. Okay. Let's figure this out. And these ones have 4 to be closer to animals. I'm doing 3 because I grew up on Disney. And they did the 3. Yeah, I'll give myself big old chunky paws. I don't care. I do care. What do I do with the brown? Okay, that's the same brown there, even though it should be little toes. But if you put white on shoes, rip, because that ain't gonna last very long at all. I think instead of going full malachite on the nails all the time, I think what I'll do is just use this base blue-green, and then for close-ups and promotional art, we'll do full malachite. Now, is this brown and green? The shoes, I think, are going to be their own separate thing, but the toes peeking through are going to also match the seasonal look. This tail is bugging me, even though it is more accurate to how a stoat's tail works, because it's one of the first things to lose color when in transition. But I think just for the yeah. And then whatever clothes I have are just going to be whatever. I do like this hood though. I think I'll save this hood and necklace combo for something else. But for the most part, I think the sprites are just going to be some sort of jacket, t-shirt, pants. I gotta figure out the pants situation with this. With one of the sketches I did, I drew it in here. No, I didn't draw it here. Damn. I could have sworn I'd drawn a sketch with her with long pants, and I could not get it to work for the life of me, so I was like, you know what, let's just do something else. Okay, I think this is a good winter look. So maybe if I have 2 colors that change for every season, aside from the outfits, and that would be just the fur, being the hair and the fur trim. Which makes me kind of want to add fur trim to the shoes instead of these sock things. Even though I do like the sock things. If I try... hang on. Just to keep the cohesion with the rest of the design. I got that song running through my head because I think that's one of the first videos I'm going to do for my new series. I just have fur peeking through here. And then maybe not fur boots, because I had a pair of boots. You got to go make those just add like a little bit of just a little bit there. Just to add a little bit of a fur accent. Here we go. This looks incomplete because I haven't drawn, like, it in cohesion with the rest of an outfit. But I think just to, you know, to keep a design flow. Because I do like this. But the gloves and shoes are not going together. It's not... Whoa. Chair went back too far. It's not cohesive. These by itself look good. These by themselves look good. But together, it looks mishmatchy. Which could be a vibe. You know, it being just a random collection of things. Which is kind of like what my interests are. Just a collection of things. But the character designer in me needs it to make sense and cohesive. And you don't have, like, the rule of 3 for any character design, which is also why this mascot has been driving me crazy, because I'm going to be talking about books. Why am I making her a forest ferret? But it's like, mind your business. I'm not just going to be talking about books, okay? I'm also going to be talking about movies. Oh boy, 30 minutes until the end of the world. Okay, yeah, this is winter. Winter palette. Now let's go in and test. Okay. Okay, nothing's on this layer. So I'm gonna make this layer the constants. Did my stream die? That does say poor. Like my bank account. Oh no. It just premiered. It just premiered, guys. The Amazing Digital Circus, Episode 8, just premiered. It's going live in 30 minutes. I am the feared. I am the afraid. don't think I really need to add the rest of that from the front, but from the side and back, we will add a full orange stripe. But from the front, since we already got this bit, which matches the skin tone, I don't think it needs to be there. Oh, come on. Dig it up, yeah. Dig it up, dig it up, yeah. Listen, I'm gonna be me all summer. It's gonna be me. You got to go make those holes. Especially when we're gardening. Oh my. Maybe instead of the orange, the green nails, I have orange nails? That would be a repeating element. I mean, we got ears, eyes, and toenails for orange. But I like wearing green. Like, green is my favorite color. Greens and browns I'll wear, but then the orange is the pop of color to keep the interest around the head. We could do that. Okay, now for we had winter season. Now for spring, which where is that? Here. Now I know like I have summer, autumn, spring, winter. I don't know why I did it that way. I just thought spring is more colorful because I wanted the summer hair to match mine, but I also really like the autumn colors because they're more muted. But I kind of want, since autumn is my favorite time of year, I want the autumn design to look the best, because that's when I'm gonna be, the most active online. Definitely on Twitch, but Manika's not gonna be on Twitch. So if I use this for winter instead. Summer is gonna be the darkest, or the most brown, because that's how the stouts work. But if I just have a dark brown that is also a reddish, and just take these two colors, do a little bit of that. And then just pick from there. God dang, that candle is gonna kill me. Hang on, let me check. Is it ready? No, it still needs to burn for... Oh, that's because that burned out. One moment. Hang on, I need to fix the candle. It's not working. Damn it. blew it out. One of the wicks went out and I didn't notice. I used this color for this sketch with the tank top, so maybe if this is spring, that would be kind of funny. Because spring from winter, from summer to autumn. So spring and autumn are gonna look kinda similar. Wait a minute, if I... keep this. With the line art, it's kind of hard to see. Well, it's closed now, so I can probably open that again. That's probably why I'm dying in here with this candle, because my door was shut. My leg's giving out. Alright, YouTube, can you lock in for a minute, man? I kind of need you to pull through. Now, for this one, I used this color. Would it make more sense for the spring one to be lighter because we're just coming out of winter, or than the autumn one? Or should it be darker because we're moving into summer, which is going to be darker? But autumn is coming out of summer into winter. Well, regardless, this brown is going to be the more dominant color. With this bad boy as the... Wait, so this isn't going to be a seasonal, this is going to be a constant. So the constant should be... the malachite nails. Oh, that green with that brown looks so good together. Ah! Now, okay, chat, is it weird that her inner ear is the same color as her skin? Or does it look, is it just separated by enough hair that it's not cringe, or that like, it's not bad? Because I tried other colors, and it looked like it was just too much to keep track of. I was like, you know what, if I just make it the same, no one will know. No one would know. Okay, so maybe this is spring because it's lighter, more dusty. And since the spring colors I'll be wearing, maybe to keep with theme, brighter themes, I wanted, like, before I did all of this, and back when I had a more demoness Sona, I was gonna have seasonal outfits and vibes for the channel, and spring was going to be peaches. It was going to be peach blossoms. So if I keep that seasonal aspect of it and maybe add some peach blossoms or ideas. There was one sketch I had where she was going to, I don't have a sketch of it here, it was in my other book, where she was gonna have a flower crown in between her ears, and I was just, oh hell no, that's gonna be way too much. So it's just gonna be promotional art. But for spring, she wears like this fun little bright color thing. Oh, that is such a good color. Where's this? This is gonna be so fun. I'm gonna look so tough, like so scrappy and all of that, but then wearing outfits, they're gonna be frilly and cute. It's gonna be so funny. I'm leaning more towards the fur trim, because then that means I can still wear pants. Because let's be real, folks. My pants situation is usually this. You're not gonna see any of this. Like, here's... And see, that still looks good in tandem. So I think with the fur trim, I can wear actual pants instead of just cuffed pants all the time, even though I do cuff my pants a lot because I can't reach anything. And my legs are so short and stumpy. Okay, so spring is going to be that color palette. Now for summer, I do want to be darker, but I want autumn to be the best. Like, the ultimate color palette. So if I make summer this dark brown, because let's be honest, if I'm gonna keep streaming on this channel, my streams for summer are gonna be at night. And I'm going to be bitching about the heat all the time. So if I just look like a drowned rat, it'll match how I feel. I think that's too dark, though. Okay, so we got this to this to this. Okay, this makes sense seasonally because we got spring, winter, fall. Wow. It's a spring, summer, fall, winter. And I feel like if we, and I mean, this is not quite a perfect circle, because going from here to here is going to be a very drastic change. And depending on where you live, fall and winter are drastic changes. Now for here, fall technically lasts a month. Because September is so fucking hot. And then we have September, October, which is fall, November, which is fall, asterisk, but sometimes we get blizzards in the middle of November. And then sometimes December we get no snow. December, January, February, and then March is when we get our blizzards. And then spring is also an asterisk in my area. It's like, spring officially starts today, March 20th, but we don't actually have a full spring until June sometimes. Now, this year is different. We've had spring since February. So it's all weird, and it makes me irritated. See, that looks dark. That's a little big. Hang on. I did have an idea for a seasonal version of my other sonas. Like, are we okay? Because it keeps saying poor. It knows. Anyway. And actually, let me pull that up. What was my hair color for that? Where was it? It was cryptid. Yeah, here. Yeah, autumn and winter are the best seasons. My summer... Okay, yeah, that was back when I had orange and purple hair. IRL and on Sona. So yeah, that's when I, solid color for when I was upset. Iris color when I was happy. And then green when my eyes were closed. I had so many colors. This is actually kind of what I look like most of summer. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Except, having perfectly colored hair. So I had a different sketch where I had more accurate coloring. Yeah, this one. Because my color fades during summer because, hair gets lighter. But if we're going by Weasel logic, I should get darker. actually pretty good because then I'd be wearing, you know, I'd be wearing a tank top. Probably the same tank top. Oh my god. I'm wearing the same shorts. What shoes did I still put myself in shoes because I don't wear sandals or open-toed shoes. The grippers are never out. Not in public, anyway. I don't let the grippers out in public. I like this color. Okay, yeah, I like that. So the summer is going to be slightly lighter than autumn, and that's because, even though it doesn't make sense for the stoat-wise, it's gonna make sense marketing-wise, because autumn is my favorite time of year. That's when I'm my most creative. That's when I'm having the most fun. So now what color to put? Wait a dang minute. This? No, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. But if I put this here. And then with this. And I do kind of like this color. It makes me think of like milk chocolate. Now what accent color to put with it though? Oh god, we got 1 minute. Oh my. Well, I don't watch premieres anyway, so swear to god, if anyone spoils it in chat, I will send a firing squad to your house. No, that can't be it. Talk to me, Goose. You know, since I am changing that, I should probably change this over. Even with summer, it looks good with the green because it looks like chocolate. Ooh, what would it look like with this? Yeah, it still looks good. That green looks good with everything. Okay, summer is going to be caramel chocolate. I mean, literally, this looks like salted caramel. Now, should this be lighter? Because of the underbelly. They are a little too close together in... I don't know why, that just suddenly looked really cute without the line art. Maybe I should try with no underline and just do, that. Because that looks super cute. And then when I'm upset, I just look like that. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, that looks good. So it's going to be that. Okay, now for autumn. This is when I bring out my main character color palette. So I want autumn to look the most, like, the most comfortable with my color palette, because I like having more reddish brown hair. And I do have more reddish brown hair, as you can, like, sort of see. But I do dye it to make it more red. I haven't dyed it in a while. Because taking an ice bath in winter just seemed like a bad idea. And I might try a different product. Soon. If I can work up the chutzpah. Ever since I put this fidget cube at my desk, I've stopped scrolling on my phone, but at the same time I've just like stopped working and then just fiddled with this cube for hours. It's supposed to be it was a little Rubik's cube, but all the stickers wore off, so now I just use it to, you know, fidget. Which is fine, because I'm just stimming here, but then I'm literally just not working. There have been, like, 15 minutes where I just sat here and just did this. It's like, oh, wow, I need to lock in. Hang on, excuse me. That red-brown still looks good with the green! And that brown doesn't match any of the others, so For autumn, I might actually switch to, instead of wearing more greens, I'll wear more orange to match the season. So that means the nails will be painted a different color. But we'll see. That looks a little too dark. And then with this being closer to my main Sona's hair color, my Misona, my Misa, it's the exact same color actually. That'll be a lot of fun to work with. Okay, I officially have figured out the color palette. Now, an official style is in order. But I have not saved this entire time, so we're gonna take a break to do that. Okay. I don't think I need this anymore. Maybe for background inspiration, but I have this saved as a separate file, so... And this I have right next to me, and this will be for the little guy, which I am not sure if we're even... I am gonna do the little guy, though. We're still gonna have the little guy. Okay, as part of the constants, we're also gonna have this green. And then outfits can be anything, but I'll probably still pick from the same, like, central color palette of shades of brown and green. Brown, green, and gray. Even though this is more of a blue, it does look good with this palette. Same with these pants, man. I wish I had these pants in real life. Although, if I had these kinds of cargo shorts in real life, they would be... more like... These are kind of like capri cargo pants. If I wore them, they would be, like, the regular shorts. Not quite like these, even though I don't have any shorts like that. If I... Honestly, if I wore these big ol' cargo pants on my thick-ass thighs, they would be, you know, like this. I wouldn't be able to open the pockets because my hips are so wide. Just speaking honestly here. Okay, now... I'm gonna try this. Copy paste. Over here. And then try out different eye shapes. I'm also just gonna add that to the line art. Okay, I'm gonna try and drawing it somewhere else. Some way else. I'm gonna draw starting with... Okay, we're gonna get head and neck. Basic head, but instead of doing ear, I'm gonna start with the hair. And then wherever the hair sticks out is where the ear goes. Just so I always guarantee that the ear pops up. Kind of got some floating anatomy going on, but it guarantees a silhouette. I should probably draw the eyes. Now I look more gremlin-esque. Hang on, let me fix the nose. That doesn't look quite right. I don't know why, but I suddenly have Big Bill Hell's cars. You know, the car commercials and all. Fuck you, Baltimore! If you're dumb enough to come to Big Bill Hell. You better send us a check, and it better not bounce or you're a dead motherfucker. Hurry up, asshole! God, that whole commercial is just so funny. I was like, is that real? Please tell me that's real. Burn your car, burn your wife, we'll fuck her! That's right, we'll fuck your wife! home to the sleaziest and meanest sons of bitches in the state of Maryland. If you think you can find a better deal, shove it up your ugly ass. You heard us right. Shove it up your ugly ass. Because at Big Bill Hells, you're about 6 ways from Sunday. Guaranteed. Okay, drawing it this way, starting with the head and ears first, definitely has a more human shape. Starting with the head and hair first has definitely given me a more animalistic, kind of sneaky vibe. So let me write that in my notes. Ears first. And then we're going to start with head and hair first. With a completely, okay, a plus diff ease. Now if I do that and combine it with this. I'm not sure which one I like more, honestly. Because I do like this. I like this shape. It looks more sneaky, it looks more weaselly. It's more gremlin-esque. And I think it just depends on what vibe I'm going for. So if I just keep track of how I achieve these different looks, I think it'll be it'll be fine. Let's try silhouette. Let's do the silhouette test. Alright. Okay, these are the different silhouettes I've achieved with these different art styles. And this one definitely looks the most scuffed. This one, if we're gonna continue with this, I think we need some more of that. Just so there's not like a weird separation. So that means this is going to need to also account for the hair that's in the back. Because it is going to pop up. So that means it'll be like that. Okay, these are both good silhouettes. And I done did it again. They both read as a similar, or maybe not the same character, but they do read as similar enough, you know, with this hair, these ears, and the little pop-up right there. So even if I draw, oh my god, in different styles, we still achieve that. Now for this, there we go. This looks more... I mean, if I do actually have a design that reads closer to bear, I would not be upset, because I do like bears. They're definitely a vibe, and they got the cutest little pupper face. I just didn't want to use a bear for my Sona. A, because of the implications, specifically in like the furry fandom or in the LGBT fandom. Fandom? What? Community? In the LGBT fandom. You know, oh yeah, my favorite fandom. Community. And bears don't have tails. And I wanted a tail, so... a wolverine it is, which is basically just a wolf bear. What layer is that on? Oh, that's on that one. Get rid of that. A lot of coming up with a good mascot slash Sona that a lot of people don't talk about in their how to make a persona videos, which I'm not blaming them for, is in order to make a good mascot slash Sona, you gotta take it slow. It's not something you can like shove out in an evening. And if you can, great, good for you. But for the rest of us indecisive bitches, I'm not even a Libra. You're gonna have to go through and be, okay, what situations and what instances is this mascot going to be used? What context are certain designs going, like, certain motifs? And what gimmick are we going for? So my gimmick for this mascot is the seasonal color palette. That is one gimmick. Another thing that I'm gonna finally let myself have a bit more is, how am I gonna draw this character in different designs? Like this is peak drawing for me. Like, this is the best drawing I've ever made all month. The best thing I've ever drawn. And it's so fast and loose. And let me move this down. Like, no thought was put into it. This is going to be the goober version for, like, thumbnails and whatnot. And then in the videos, I might look more like this. Or hell, even like this, depending on how, like, how much time I let myself have. And now we are back to excellent for some reason. That's why I'm having troubles. The bitrate is higher than the recommended bitrate. YouTube, can you handle, like, basic bitch bitrates? Because, like, I get notifications from Twitch saying, wow, your bitrate's really low, you should probably boost that. And then when I go to YouTube, they're like, whoa, your bitrate's too high. It's just, oh my fucking god, there's just no winning. There's just no winning. There's just no universal unit of bitrate that I can convert to, and then the switching the programs doesn't automatically convert it to the recommended bitrates like it's supposed to. Like it's supposed to, because I don't know anything about bitrates, I don't know anything about cameras, I don't know anything about tech, and it's murder out here, man. They're doing this on purpose. They created a shit product, and it's our fault that it doesn't work. Good vibes. Oh, the writing's at the bottom. Oh, my bad. How tall is it? Yeah, good vibes. Mushrooms. I stood up and my leg just reminded me, hey, remember you cramped yesterday? It's like, ah. Yeah, I remember. Can I walk, please? Ah. Ow. Ow. Are we almost done? I mean, we nailed down a color palette. So this is going to be for hair. I'm gonna say palms, because I don't know what else to, like, and toes. This is for fur trim. I might... You know what I could do? Oh, and tail. Except this one. This one is also tail. This is making notes for future reference. You know what I could do? And no one will be able to stop me. Because I am invincible. Just to add just a pop of interest. Or would that be bad if I added this as, like, the bangs? Just to keep this hair color as more than just an accent? Because then in winter, it would look... like that. And ooh, I like that! Fuck, I like that! No! What have I done? I can't keep getting away with this. I forgot to add the trim here. Chat, you can't keep letting me get away with this. The fringes. I would love to have lighter bangs in real IRL too, so... ah! Okay, and then for spring, it would look... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Oops. spring, it would look like this. And then for summer, it would look like... It would look like that. Damn it! That look... And then autumn, oh, moment of truth. For autumn, then it would look like... That was the wrong thing to grab. There we go. Balls! I like that. Shit. Hi, Sketch. I'm having a mental crisis. That looks good. Shit. Fucking goddamn. Alright. Fur trim, and what layer is this on? And bangs. We are giving ourselves bangs. I mean, we already have bangs, but now we have a fringe. We got the rogue cut, which honestly, the more I can possibly look like Rogue from X-Men, the happier I'll be. So now we... Oh. That adds more interest to the colors, because then the color hierarchy would be this with that. And then for spring, it would look like this. This. Fuck's sake. This. Nah. Hello? And then whatever clothes. I am gonna die. I'm gonna die. This is literally gonna be the end of me. Okay, we got skin tone. Then we have hair, eye color. And then we have my poppin' nails. What else is gonna be permanent? Is there any other accessory or thingaling on me that's going to be permanent aside from the white pupils? Because the green nails look good. Especially on the shoes. They look so good with all the colors. On the hands, it looks a little weird in this position, but if we reference this sketch, the claws look really good. And I really like this sketch. I like how it turned out. It makes me happy. So, and then with the outfits, I think it'll look fine as well. There are, you know, minute details. These are, of course, first passes, so that's not how it's gonna look. The hair, like, if I was drawing, like spending a lot of time with the line art, her hair would look like this. But since I want it to look scruffy, the hair is just gonna be 3 spikes everywhere. Like, the side part's gonna be 3 spikes, the bangs are 3 spikes, the back of the head is 3 spikes. Now down here it's 2 and 2. But that's just because that's kind of how my hair naturally pops up. Like, especially at the shoulder. So I need to push that back out of my face. So there is that. All I need to do now is figure out... I'm gonna add the white to the color palette. I put it on. I'm gonna add the white to the eye bits just so I can remember. That her pupils are white. There we go. And then Fang isn't an odd color. The only time the tail is not the same color as the hair is going to be in autumn, but that's because the black line art for the tail, it didn't look quite the way I wanted it to. See, because if we take this, it blends in a little too well. Because then if you zoom out, you can sort of see the difference, but then if you use this color and zoom out, you can see it a lot more. So this is hair, hand things. I'm gonna say hands instead of palms. I know what I mean. Hands, toes, and tail. Except this one time that it's tail, and this is fur trim and bangs. So we're basic. I've taken Cryptid Rune and Synthwave Rune, and they did a fusion dance. I don't even watch Dragon Ball Z. Okay. What else do I need to do before I finalize a design? Am I gonna have an outfit lineup, or is it just gonna be whatever comes to mind? Cause honestly, if I draw, oh yeah, let's keep it open, whatever comes to mind. Every time I draw something, it's just gonna be a t-shirt like that, and pants. Maybe like a hoodie, just to keep it interesting. Maybe it's gonna be like the same 4 outfits anyway, except for like promotional art, which then might have the hood and necklace, which I really do like. I might draw just art like this, but the problem with that kind of art, and it's not really a problem, it's just would be false advertising, is I had this idea of also giving her a mask with the hood to add to like a more animalistic vibe, but then this would be, advertising Manic, or this mascot, as a Therian, which she's and me aren't, I'm not a Therian, and I don't want to advertise myself as a Therian, because I don't want people to like, oh, you're my favorite Therian role model. It's like, I'm not a Therian. I'm a kimono mimi. I just like the fashion of it. I'm not actually a Therian. Maybe. I don't know. Therapy. Okay, so we got the color palette down. Clothes can be whatever, as long as it's shades of green, brown, and it's like goblin core and grunge. Definitely grunge. If you want to draw me in if you want to draw Manic in a leather jacket, go right ahead. As long as it's a Metallica band, Metallica, or yeah, it's got to be Metallica or Nirvana. Those are my 2 favorite rock bands. Or Joan Jett. If you got a Joan Jett in the Runaways, or the Joan Jett in the Blackhearts, put her in that, because I love Joan Jett. Not the biggest Dolly Parton fan, but it is a rule in my Twitch chat. If you disrespect her, you get permabanned. And then we're back to poor. So I think this is a good start to a good first step into the future. Okay, what's up with all these stray layers coming out of nowhere? Oh, because I was using that to color. Yeah. And then the eye thing is going to be whatever mood she's in, but always these colors. The skin and inner ear are the same color just because. At all times, her palette is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's technically 7, but if it's an accessory, it's fine. Now, in order to make... I saw this one trick where in order to make a cohesive color palette for a character, like outfit-wise, you have... You get these other colors. Not that one. That one's ugly. And then you have an... Was it overlay that they used? Or... No, it wasn't overlay. I think they put multiply? No, what was it? Because... Or they just lowered the opacity. I think they just lowered the opacity, but I'm not sure to what level. So... When you add the colors, no. So now, when I like color Manic, and she's wearing like a shirt or something with like a bandana and a whatever, the clothes are now going to be more cohesive to her skin tone. This is kind of a bad example, but I've seen this done elsewhere. And I don't remember if it was lower opacity or if they had... Because it wasn't overlay, because that just does that. And it wasn't... Oh, was it different? No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't different. I don't think it was multiply. I think it was just lowered opacity on normal. I'll have to look up that trick again, but I think I might try that for some of my for some upcoming designs. Because I kind of struggle with picking clothes that look good with a character's color palette, especially when I want to give them a crazy color palette. You gotta pick clothes that also complement them. And I know real people don't dress their good complementary colors. But a character is not a real person. So you gotta keep that in mind. A character serves a purpose, and the design must reflect that personality / purpose. So while this blue-green does look good, I might have to... No, but it looks good. So I think all of her clothes are going to be within this color range, although I might make it slightly more green. Okay, that green still looks good with everything. And... Wrong one. If it's to reference malachite. Malachite is a mix of blues and greens. Although it's more blue-green. So... I'll just pick I just grabbed this one. Even though I like this one slightly more. Let's see. Let's see what you look like. Let's see what the audience thinks. Let's put it in. I mean... I do like this one more because that does look good with everything else. And it does pop a little bit. But it doesn't quite match the aesthetic of foresty greens. And something to do with marigolds. I don't know. Like, foresty green is more of this, which is more yellow. Which also isn't bad, that's just that's not malachite. I prefer malachite, even though that's not quite in the foresty vibe. Making it more blue would make it pop, but it's nails. Why would you need to make it pop? But if I use this blue-green as a base for her outfits, that would make her pop out from the foresty green backgrounds, even though I do like this color. More olive. Greens of this caliber will complement but still stand out. And we can have teal. I love teal. And these also look good with orange. So they're complementary. Or contrasting, not they're contrasting colors. So the orange will stand out, but the orange does look better with this green. Sure, we are once again at an impasse of me picking colors. Now, if I change it to this green, and that does look good with everything. That really does look good. But it doesn't match. I think the closest one it manages is this one. Which is also really good. I like that color. Balls. Well, we're back at square one on a different region. So I'm gonna figure this out later. But now that we do have this base, let's just get rid of that. We do have this base. This guy is the point of contention. But that's just the accent color. If I want the okay, do I want the green to match malachite? Like, am I gonna dress matching malachite so to stand out against the forest? Or am I gonna dress more green to represent a forest so that the forest is with me no matter what the background is? Like, even if I'm talking about a movie book adaptation that is, like, in the future tech punk with no forest, the forest is still with me. But with the malachite, I do like the color more. This is why I usually don't do character designs on stream, because most of it is just me doing this. For hours on end while listening to Screamo. I don't listen to Screamo, but you know what, you like get the idea. I'm like contemplating. It's like, oh, she looks so deep in thought. I wonder what music she's listening to, and it's just disrespectful surroundings. You gotta get into the mindset of the character you're designing. So make a playlist that matches their vibe. which is also helps during character design. Because if you can just get into their headspace, it's like, okay, if I was this character, every day I wake up, how am I gonna dress? If I had like infinite money, how would I dress? Or does this character have infinite money? Is this character poor? And thus they're forced to wear old raggedy clothes. Or is that just the vibe that they like to go for? Do they like to look like they've got everything from the thrift shop because they absolutely did? Or did they custom rip those jeans? And you can tell, it's just an egg planted on my side of my head, if it's custom rip, if those are custom rip jeaned or from wear and tear based on the placement of those rips. So you get, logistics, but also rule of cool. And that's what character design kind of boils down to. If you want to say something with the design just so people can look at it and get a vibe, and like, even if they're not recognizing the subconscious use, like if because I have a pair of jeans that I swear to God that should be retired. Let me see if I can quickly draw them. They're old pants, and they're much too big for me. They're literally ripped here, here, and here. That's how you know these pants are ripped out. Oh, also in the knees. Oh my, I almost forgot the knees. They're ripped out of regular use. If they were ripped out of fashion, let me draw those pants. They would be ripped here, like up on the thighs. That is like, this is fashion. This is actual wear. Which wear? Where? Wear. Yeah. Wear and tear. Yeah. So I had it right. Actual wear versus fashion. So depending on what you want to say with a character with ripped pants, pay attention to where the rippage is. And with that note, I'm going to end stream because it is 3:45. It is 3:54, actually. Holy shit. And I ain't had lunch yet. So. And Amazing Digital Circus is the circus is crawling, is in town, and it's going to kill me. So. Adios, muchachos. I am not ending every stream with that. Oh my. Like, comment, subscribe, share, stay tuned. It's gonna be a ride. Y'all have a day.